Have you ever met someone who just feels off? Not in an obvious way. Not loud, not aggressive, not even rude sometimes. But something about them makes you pause. You listen to what they say, you watch what they do, and deep down, something doesn't add up. It's not about education. It's not about money. And it's definitely not about how fluent someone is when they speak. Because intelligence, real intelligence, quietly reveals itself through behavior. And the opposite hides in habits. Small, strange habits that most people ignore, but once you notice them, you can't unsee them. In this video, we're exploring 8 unusual habits that often reveal extremely low intelligence. Not to judge others, but to understand human behavior more deeply, and maybe even reflect on ourselves. The first habit is constantly interrupting others. At first, this might look like confidence or enthusiasm. But when someone repeatedly cuts others off mid-sentence, it usually shows something deeper, an inability to process and respect what's being said. Intelligent people listen carefully. They pause before responding. They absorb information. But someone who interrupts often isn't focused on understanding. They are focused on reacting. Their mind is rushing to speak before truly hearing. Over time, this creates shallow conversations, where nothing meaningful is actually exchanged. The second habit is laughing at everything, even when it's not appropriate. You may have seen someone laugh during serious moments or emotional conversations. It feels uncomfortable because it shows a lack of awareness. This behavior often comes from not understanding emotional context. Instead of responding appropriately, they default to laughter. Intelligent individuals understand timing. They recognize emotions and adjust their reactions accordingly. They know that sometimes silence carries more weight than any reaction. The third habit is copying others without understanding why. Some people follow trends blindly. They adopt behaviors, opinions, or styles just because others are doing it. But if you ask them why, they struggle to explain. This isn't thoughtful adaptation. It's imitation without comprehension. Intelligent individuals observe and choose what aligns with them. They think before they follow. Without that thinking process, a person's identity becomes shallow, shaped entirely by external influence. The fourth habit is arguing just to win, not to learn. Pay attention to how someone handles disagreement. Do they listen to understand, or do they just want to prove a point? People with low intelligence often treat arguments like battles. They focus on winning rather than discovering truth. But being loud or persistent doesn't make someone right. Intelligent people are open to changing their views. They value understanding over ego. The fifth habit is oversharing personal information too quickly. Some people reveal too much about themselves too soon. Their personal stories, struggles, and secrets come out within minutes of meeting someone. This usually reflects a lack of social awareness and emotional boundaries. Intelligent individuals build trust gradually. They understand that meaningful connections take time. Oversharing often pushes people away instead of bringing them closer. The sixth habit is blaming others for everything. When something goes wrong, they never take responsibility. It's always someone else's fault, the situation, other people, or circumstances. This mindset blocks growth. Intelligence involves self-reflection. It requires the ability to look inward and recognize mistakes. Without that, a person remains stuck, repeating the same patterns without learning from them. The seventh habit is struggling to stay focused on one topic. Some people jump from one idea to another without fully exploring anything. Conversations feel scattered and difficult to follow. This often reflects a lack of mental clarity. Intelligent individuals go deeper into ideas. They stay with a thought long enough to understand it fully. Depth of thinking leads to deeper understanding. Constant distraction leads to surface-level awareness. The eighth habit is rejecting new ideas instantly. When presented with something unfamiliar, they shut it down immediately. They dismiss it without considering it. This habit limits growth more than anything else. Intelligent people stay curious. Even when something seems strange, they explore it before forming a conclusion. Because growth requires openness. Now here's something important to remember. This isn't about labeling people or judging others. It's about awareness. Because the truth is, everyone shows some of these habits at times. The difference is whether we recognize them and choose to improve. Instead of thinking about who this reminds you of, ask yourself a simple question. Do I do any of these things without realizing it? That level of self-awareness is what separates growth from stagnation. If this made you reflect in any way, Take a moment to engage with the video, like it's so more people can see it. Subscribe for more psychological insights that help you understand behavior on a deeper level. And in the comments, write the word aware if you're ready to see both yourself and others more clearly. Because awareness is where real change begins.